Where is the wise man? Where is the scholar? Where is the philosopher of this age? Get down! Baltimore!
What are they getting?
Everything out of me. They gonna get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Believe that.
All right, welcome on back to another edition of the Baltimore Beatdown podcast. It is Friday, January 7th, 2022. Ringing in the new year. My name is Jake Luke. I'm joined by a flanneled up, trucker hatted up, Benson Nathaniel Schultz. How's it going, pal?
Good. I realized I look like someone who would like get in a fight with someone who works on the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch at a bar and get their ass kicked probably right now.
You got some rip vibes going.
I wish I had rip vibes. I wish I had rip vibes. I feel like you've been binge watching it secretly in the last like 2 weeks. Am I wrong?
Yeah, well, I watched like the first 3 episodes, I want to say, and then I fell off. So I got to get back into it. I've heard the new season not very good, though. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
It's good. I'm like, I don't know. I'm sick of people saying shows aren't good. This is like a stupid statement, but I'm sick of it. A lot of hate on Money Heist. Great show.
Right there.
Like, this season's not that good. Like, okay, there's going to be season. Every season's not going to be a 10. There's going to be seasons that are an 8 or maybe a 7. I mean, there are people, I was talking with a bunch of my buddies, same conversation. That's why I'm a little riled up. And they were saying, like, oh, Money Heist isn't good after season 1. I was like, did you finish the show? No. Okay, then shut up. Like,
you're right about that, but there is another cadre of people on like the other side of the coin that are like, oh, dude, it's, the first like 4 seasons suck, but once you get through that, like that's when, dude, just wait, like that's when it gets good. So like that,
those are both sides of that coin that piss me off.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'll have to get back into it. I'm a big Costner guy, as you know, and the guy who plays Rip actually in Dazed and Confused as Benny.
Cole Hauser, yeah,
Cole Hauser. So it's interesting, and then Beth Dutton is a woman that I would allow to just destroy my life. So yeah, it's an interesting show. I got to get back into it though.
It's good. Taylor Sheridan pumping out lots of hits. 1883 going along with it, very good as well. But let's just I don't know. Let's just pump the brakes on like saying this season's not as good. Like not every season. Ozark, are all seasons a 10? No. Like every show. Game of Thrones. Oh, the ending's not that great. And then in the same vein, one of my buddies is. So I said, Money Heist. I love Money Heist. Is it a little cheesy? Yes. Is it dubbed over from Spanish to English? Yes.
It's a heist.
I was like, it might honestly be on my Mount Rushmore shows. And he ripped me a new one for saying that. And then he has the audacity to say Dexter is one of his best shows. After saying that, like, it wasn't good after season 1, I was like, Dexter had the worst fall off of any show. And you're going to come to me with that. So I'm ready to get riled up over TV shows. It's that time of the year.
No, I'm not frustrated.
No, I'm not.
Shout out to Billick. Shout out to the new soundboard. We got some new sounds, some ones that you'll recognize in there, but we're flying here. Got a new intro, got some new equipment, new graphics if you're watching on YouTube. So it's
new graphics. The intro is sick, had a little bit of a ring to it, a little echo to it that gave it a little celestial coup de joie, pulled it all together.
Had to put my own flair on where's the wise man, where's the scholar. So yeah, we're flying here. It's 2022. The season might not technically be over, but I was pretty horned to get into this new get the creative juices flowing a little bit in this respect. So I got some of the new stuff together, and we're ready to attack this offseason with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. But I mean, this was the most predictable thing ever that it felt like, and I think we were a part of this. It felt like the season was 100% over last Sunday, but now all of a sudden people on Ravens Twitter are talking themselves into them beating the Steelers, which could plausibly happen, and then a Howard Ratner-esque parlay taking place with these 3 other teams winning. I believe Jacksonville over the Colts in Jacksonville, Raiders over the Chargers, and then what's the last one?
Dolphins lose to Pats,
lose to New England. Yeah, I think in New England. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, it's it's possible. I wouldn't say it's probable, but people are. It was the nadir of like, oh my God, they're going to miss the playoffs. This is the end of the season, and then if there's any little possibility, any little Jim Carrey, you're telling me there's a chance, people are going to take it and run with it. And I commend them. Listen, that's what being a fan is about. So there's a chance, and we have a game to preview. But yeah, how you feeling on that front?
I feel good. I feel great. I'm excited for this game. There's the duality of the fact that even if that parlay is one Don Wink Martindale, not the celebrity game show host or whatever the hell the original one was from the 70s, had to say it's a parlay, and that parlay is probably plus 1,400 or something to hit. But I think that adds excitement. And then I think there's just a neutral excitement that gives this a beautiful end to the season of the fact that it is Ben Roethlisberger's last game in Baltimore. So I think there's like more excitement than there is in like when the Ravens played the Vikings in the middle of the season in this one. Like there's a little bit of a mystique to it because of it being Ben's last game, Terrell Suggs coming to the stadium, wanting to win this one. Everyone's already, I want the draft pick. I want 2 picks higher. Well, okay. I don't even feel like
I've been meaning to say this, and I think I might have already tried, but I didn't articulate it clear enough. No one actually believes that. They just put it out there as a self-defense mechanism in the event that the Ravens don't make the playoffs.
If they were playing, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they were playing some random freaking team. If it wasn't the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger's last game, I can hear that argument. I want to win every football game. I don't really care about that stuff about, 3 slots higher, 2 slots higher, whatever. So I'm not into all that jargon anyway, but I think there's just a mystique to this game. I think there's a beauty in it. And I think it's a very rare game. Like this is a legendary Pokemon of a football game. How many football games do we watch a year? I've watched every single primetime game except for one in the last 2 years. I watch Red Zone every Sunday. I watch the Ravens every single game. I rewatch the Ravens every single week. This game is a unique game. Ben Roethlisberger's last game in Baltimore, there's this wild playoff scenario that's unlikely to happen. So no matter who you are, no matter how conservatively you want to say, oh, I just want them to lose so they can get a draft pick. If the Jaguars go up 10-0 in the first quarter, it's going to get your nipples a little hard. It's going to get the blood pumping a little bit. The hair is going to stand up on your arms, and you're going to get a little bit of excitement going, really the Colts haven't beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville since 24. Ooh, okay, this might happen. Okay. You're going to get that no matter who you are, no matter how hard you try to deflect, no matter how tough of an exterior you try to put on. That's going to get the juices pumping a little bit. And the fact, the cherry on top, the Viva la Resistance, the fact that it is John fucking Wayne Roethlisberger coming to Baltimore one last time. He's 16-10 against the Ravens. He's going to finish with a winning record against them anyway. The number one thorn in their side ever. Tom Brady didn't give them. Tom Brady hasn't given the Ravens troubles. Peyton Manning beat the Ravens a few times. They got the best of him. They slayed that dragon on a Super Bowl run. Like Ben is the number one antagonist in the Ravens story. In the story of Baltimore, in the story of this franchise since 1996, he is the antagonist, him and Mike Tomlin. So that is just a perfect Cinderella or not Cinderella, but like a perfect, ending of a Spielberg film. It is something that has beauty within it. And that little tease, that little parlay that needs to hit, that little, what could happen if you see Trevor Lawrence throw some crazy dime for a touchdown, you're going to get the hair on your neck standing up. And I'm never, like I said, I'm not ready to start talking draft picks. I'm seeing mock drafts. Everyone like, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm not ready for that at all. I have not studied enough. You have not studied enough. I mean, you, the proverbial you, the general you, listening, has not studied enough to start doing these mocks. And this is what they need and all that stuff. Give me a break. We haven't even hit the Senior Bowl yet. Like, let's relax. The season's not over. The Ravens, no matter how small it is, do have a shot, and it's exciting. And I like to live my life that way. I don't want to police being a fan, but I know whoever's listening to this, no matter how gritty you might be on the end of the season, one touchdown from the Jaguars in the first quarter, if they have a lead, you're going to be going woo inside. So I'm excited.
I wonder if everyone knows what the 2014 San Diego Chargers needed to make the playoffs. They needed to beat the Chase Daniel-led Kansas City Chiefs. And guess what they didn't do? Beat the Chase Daniel-led Kansas City Chiefs. And guess who made the playoffs as a result of that? The Ravens in Baltimore beating the Brownies. So, it can happen. That's all I'm going to say.
And will it happen? Probably not, but it's fun.
There were people talking in 2014 about draft picks. It's like, all right, guys, like, do you want the draft pick or do you want to make the playoffs? Because you're probably saying, some of you, draft pick before we go into that game, but then, Chase Daniel getting a little frisky and running a touchdown in or something like that. All of a sudden, your eyes go to the scoreboard, just like all those players down there. We all know what the deal is. You're just going to play until it's time not to play anymore. You play until the lights go out. The lights are flickering, but they're not out yet.
They are. And the people that are true, down in the nitty gritty dirty with the Ravens want to win this game. They want to see it. You want to see Jimmy Smith and maybe Calais Campbell and maybe Brandon Williams and all these Ravens, go out with a win. You want to see Ben Roethlisberger sent home with an L. If not, in the grand scheme of things, 2 spots in the draft versus looking back 10 years from now, what am I going to remember? I'm going to remember the last game Ben Roethlisberger played in Baltimore. It's a memory, no matter what the circumstance is. The Ravens could be 5-11 right now. God, that took me a second. 5-11 right now, and it still would have a little extra tingle in the spine, a little extra electricity to it. This is the Ravens home game against the Steelers, man. So it's going to be a fun time. Sucks that it's at 1 o'clock. We couldn't get a 4:25, so tailgating could be a proper day and get a little bit more riled up about it. But I'm fired up. I'm excited. Ben Roethlisberger is now a shell of his former self. The pass chart that he had from that Browns game, from that heroic, gritty 132-yard 40 dropback performance, was just the stuff of legends in the sense of the stuff of obscurity.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
I don't know if anybody in the world will be alive Sunday.
Yeah, I don't have that one, but I do have the Carl.
That's
I don't
what
want to be anymore. I don't want to be around anymore listening to this Ben Roethlisberger shit. Like, let's end this thing. We got T-Sizzle in the house. We pulled some strings. We called some things in. He's going to be there.
We did it, folks. We did it. We got him.
Not to take credit. For anyone wondering, we certainly had nothing to do with that, but we incepted it into the world. And T-Sizzle will be in the house. They're going to show him on the scoreboard. You're going to get fired up. You have a fun time out there at the bank. Last one of the year. We didn't even know if we were going to be able to attend football games at this time, 2 years ago. That's probably not, the math isn't right there, but I'm not a math guy. So, we got them all in this year, didn't we? And this is going to be potentially the last one. So go have fun, cheer your little D's off, and let's get a real big win here.
Your little D's.
So what about this game? How are we feeling? TJ Watt coming into it with the chance to potentially break the sack record. I think he's on 19.
20. I think he's on 20 and a half.
20.5. So he's two or three away, I want to say. Feels like his
21 and a half. I think he's one sack away.
1 sack away from breaking the fraudulent Strahan record. He's only played in, I think, 14 games this year, or maybe even less, which is nuts. So he's, going to be eyeing to break that record. We got Nick Boyle and Pat Ricard going on the COVID list today. So loath as we are to think about it, that might mean the last time we see Pat Ricard in a Ravens uniform. I'm not expecting that, but it's possible.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately. He's been pretty banged up. They did go try to draft Ben Mason.
Yeah.
I have no inkling either way, or no rumor mill or anything, but I don't know what will become of that.
Yeah. So you got that going on. It sounds like Lamar Jackson probably not going to play in this one.
Lamar's definitely not going to play in this one. I would be flabbergasted. I went into the WebMD verse and was just looking up about bone bruises for a long time, and it's painful. The minimum is 2 weeks, and so it said can linger. I'm not even going to say what it said because I don't want to put that into the world. But not a fun thing to deal with. Ankle injury is not a fun thing to deal with. Huntley's almost won some games. Whatever. This game, it sucks that we're getting robbed of the proverbial passing of the torch, perhaps. Lamar has not really been able to have a game or beat the Steelers. They had the game where he kind of had a sloppy performance, and Marlon Humphrey has the fruit punch in overtime to get it back, and then they go hit a game winner in that one. Like, how crazy was that game? That game was insane. Actually, was that Duck Hodges?
Yeah. Well, it was Mason Rudolph, and then he got he got his like face mask knocked off, and they had to take him out.
Who hit him, Earl? Never mind. Ben wasn't even in that one.
Yeah, it was because Ben had gotten hurt against the Seahawks. He missed that entire year. Then he came back for the revenge tour in 2020, which he was, didn't really get much revenge. Let's just put it at that. It just makes me mad. So Mason,
it's crazy he didn't retire last year. He should have done a Ray Lewis, and when they were like 10-0, been like, I feel it. This is my last ride. Like that, he should have done that last year. It is so asinine that he didn't.
It's surprising that he didn't, because he's kind of having his cake and eating it too, where like he kind of wants to be old Figjam cowboy, like kind of not saying anything and riding off into the sunset quietly. But then he's also like taking 45 laps around Heinz Field on Monday Night Football.
Apparently it was a quarter of a lap.
Won a game to like fucking get to like 7-8 or whatever they are, 8-7. I don't even know, 8-7-1. And yeah, just that whole spectacle was disgusting to watch. And this is going to be an extension of that. So
disgusting to watch. Yeah, it's going to be very weird, I think. And it's going to cap off a very weird year. The best way to put it is a weird year. And I think ultimately that, I don't know. It's so peculiar that both of these teams record-wise and seeding-wise are in the exact same spot. And they're playing in a game despite all of the rich history of winning over the last 2 decades between these two franchises that have produced one losing season in the last 13 years, however long. Is this Harbaugh's 14th? I think it's his 14th year. So 14 years, seasons that neither of them are in it. And that stinks a little bit. But again, I think it just adds to that mystique. But they both need that little shiny glimmer of hope of an opening touchdown from the Jaguars. But moving to this game, I mean, Deontay Johnson as well on the vid list can probably come back. The COVID protocols are now feels like sit out for 2 days and then come back is kind of like what it feels like they're secretly doing. Like that's the secret rule of thumb is like, go away for a little. Okay, you're fine. Okay, you're not sick. Come back. So we'll see what happens with that. It's what we know. The Steelers offensively are going to want to spray the ball underneath. Ben's not going to hold the ball. Come on, Ben. Grow up, grow a pair. It's your last game. Hang in there, hang in the pocket, and try and launch some deep. This is your last game potentially. Put all the mustard in Heinz Field in that right shoulder and air the ball out. Put some velocity on the ball. Let's have some fun. Stop running this rinky-dink
hitting bombs. Hitting bombs.
Exactly. So listening to Snoop Dogg, who sounded like he hates Roethlisberger.
He was kind of ripping into him. I don't know if you were watching Manning Cast, but that was rough.
Yes, Snoop Dogg was like ripping into him. Big Steelers fan Snoop, and was like, "Oh, Ben's calling the shots now. He's calling whatever he wants. His favorite play is a 2-yard out route on 3rd and 10." And was like laying those shots down. It's like, it's your last game. You're coming to play the Ravens, Ben. All right, grow up, stand in the pocket like you used to, give every ounce that you have, and try and win this game. I want to see Roethlisberger stand in the pocket and try and do what he hasn't done. Maybe he is literally incapable of that. I don't care. I still want to see it. I don't want to see this rinky-dink freaking backyard hockey rink skating around bullshit anymore. I don't know how on earth. I guess he just had them so hogtied contract-wise, and they just wanted to give him kind of like the Eli Manning-ish thing. How do you go through this offseason as the Steelers being like, all right, this is going to be our offense. We're going to throw it as quickly as possible no matter what, or we're going to lob up a fucking moon ball to the sideline and hope that Chase Claypool can go get vertical and almost catch balls like every 5th pass. I don't get it. I don't know how that was like a happy thing. And Roethlisberger took his pay cut, a.k.a., hey, you're either going to have to take less money or get the fuck out of here and not have your last little whirling tour of the world because you're limiting us either way. But he's the gritty guy, Aditi Kikabwala. He's the leader, the savior, someone everyone should look up to
off the field. But
yeah, exactly.
You want to take a knee every snap.
So I want to see Ben do what he used to do. I want to see old Ben. I want to see him sling the thing over the middle of the football field and hang in the pocket and act tough. Maybe he is literally physically incapable of doing that, but that's what I want to see.
People were comparing his game the other night to Kobe's last game. He needs to do a Kobe's last game in this one where he throws like 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and like 380 yards on 65 attempts. Like that's what he needs to do here.
Maybe he is just incapable of that because Kobe, RIP, was a true god of will and being able to actually elevate above. And Ben is just in the boot, dragging along, falling down in the pocket, moseying along. I don't know what it was, but just thinking about what he used to be and what he is now, and the fact that this is how long it took for him to step away from the game is so nuts to me. Thinking about how he used to legitimately like shoulder, and that's why he is the way he is now, probably because he used to play like freaking truck stop Cam Newton, shouldering people in the backfield and then getting balls off. And that's what made him so special. And now he's just like partially crippled in terms of being an NFL athlete. But I want to see old Ben. I want to see him trying to take some shots and hang in there tough. And I guess he just doesn't have it in him. But this offense, we know what it is. Najee Harris just came off of an awesome performance, won me a fantasy championship. Thank you, Najee. I'm going to get an Alabama Najee jersey with my winnings. Loved him as a prospect, love him as a person, love him as a player. Had to go to the Steelers, had to go to the worst rushing scheme and offensive line possible so that everyone can talk shit about running backs and say blah, 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 blah. Of course. But Najee had a crazy game last week. That's going to be exciting to watch. Him and Patrick Queen, Mike Tomlin talking about how Queen is probably the best linebacker in the AFC North, much to the chagrin of PFF and of a lot of people from Dundalk. Not doing it. What was that?
And to Devin Bush.
And yeah, to Devin Bush. I mean, everyone's like, oh, well, look around. There's no blah, blah. All right, whatever. Patrick Queen's made some awesome plays. Mike Tomlin acknowledged it. He's not going to go say that about, I don't know, freaking Geno Stone or like, no disrespect to Geno Stone, but he's not going to be like, yeah, that Stone guy, because Geno Stone made some nice plays, but he's not, a factor. So for Tomlin to go out of his way to say that praise means something. Am I, maybe slightly biased to Patrick Queen? Sure, but objectively, I talk about when he stinks, talk about when he does awesome. And I think he's playing awesome. So Najee Harris, Patrick Queen, exciting to watch. In this one, Justin Houston, Calais Campbell, who knows what their future holds. Got to think they're going to be going balls to the wall just for the hell of it. Campbell kind of turned into a wrecking crew again last week against the Rams. He had some very violent humps into Rob Havenstein and some really explosive plays to split double teams, make tackles in the backfield. So there's some old heads in this one. They're going to be going at it left and right. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited as much as I can be to watch that rinky-dink offense. And in terms of the Ravens, there's storylines for the Ravens. TJ Watt, keeping him out of that sack record is going to be tough. He is going to get it, or at least tie it. I bet he ties it. I bet that's what ends up happening. That's my guess. But that's an exciting storyline to watch. Mark Andrews, 141 yards away from becoming having the most receiving yards by a tight end in NFL history in a single season. That is, as Cooper Kupp said, with an asterisk because we're in 17-game seasons now. But Andrews is basically shattering the Ravens' single season franchise record for receiving yards. Hollywood Brown can become a 1,000-yard receiver very easily. Rashad Bateman, has been playing with a little sugar and spice lately. So excited to see what that offense can do. And this is kind of this is a big game for Tyler Huntley. It feels like, he's been the starter for a couple weeks. This is his Pittsburgh Steeler moment. This is his moment to earn his stripes or his feathers or whatever you want to say. And, he had a game last week where he was kind of, able to make some nice plays and keep some drives moving, but lacked anything that was really special. Was a little erratic in the red zone at times. And it's time for him to step up and make some plays and make himself a little bit more money. And this is a huge game for him to prove himself and go out on a high note into kind of propelling himself into more of a future than many people thought he had 4 or 5 months ago, even if he was going to be on the Ravens roster or a backup or hang around in the NFL or anything of that sort. So a lot of storylines there, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. I know that this isn't what we envisioned for the Week 18 matchup when the schedule came out, but it's what ended up happening. There's still a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm looking forward to what we see out of Huntley in this game. I thought he had another good game against the Rams. If it did, highlight a little bit the difference between him and Lamar Jackson, it just feels like there's a finishing element of this offense that maybe isn't as quantifiable, and maybe there is some kind of number or statistic for it, but it just feels like they just aren't scoring touchdowns with Huntley in the way that they do with Lamar when he's at his absolute best. So I'd like to see him improve on that. I'd like to see him get them into the end zone a couple times. It feels like They're probably going to need to do that to prove to be the difference in this one. Not that Steelers have this like super high powered offense or anything, but their defense is opportunistic, and they're probably going to get their chances. So you got to take your chances when you get them. So looking forward to that. And Huntley, he's fun to watch, man. He moves the ball, which is really the only thing I look for in a quarterback to see if they're like a viable backup and starter in a pinch is, can you move the ball? Like turnovers, you can kind of live with because pretty much all backups are probably going to give you those. You want a guy that can move the ball a little bit and be exciting. And Huntley has shown in his unexpectedly sort of long tenure as a starter here that he can at the very least do that. So that's been a lot of fun to watch. And this offensive line, let's see if we can get 4 fucking good quarters of football out of you here. Best right tackle in the league, Patrick McCary. Let's have a best right tackle in the league type of game. Villanueva, let's go out on a high note here. You're probably going to be done here with the Ravens, and we wish you the best of luck. But that
playing against his old team for the second time after.
Yes, let's have a nice revenge game and go out on a high note. And interior guys, you've all done a good job with the exception of that left guard spot. So Cleveland, let's go out there and have a good game, and maybe give us some positive tape to take into the offseason. That's all I'm looking for, and a win, obviously.
Cleveland is out in practice because of his head. Whatever that means. I know that concussion, from what I've heard, lingered a good bit for a while there and wasn't able to go for a little bit. So we'll see what happens with that. Tyree Phillips not available on the IR. So Ben Powers, I think, still not practicing. I might be mistaken there with a foot injury. So who the hell knows what's going to happen. I guess we could see Tristan Colon at left guard perhaps in that case, or some other variation. But hey, Cam Hayward coming through.
In the Bozeman absence, right, is he slotted in at center. So I guess hypothetically he would be in at left guard for Cleveland. I don't know.
Something of the sort. We shall see. So a little bit up in the air in that department. Devontae Freeman's ran hard all year considering where he's at in his career. Busted off a pretty long run. I think that was the second longest run of the year last week. And there's something to play for some of these guys. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see how this all plays out. And we'll be scoreboard watching the whole time. It'll be in the stadium. There'll be that little bit of excitement, that little bit of hope, that little kid in you hoping to some degree. And ultimately, this game, this is probably a stupid statement, but this game, considering if the Ravens have a miracle happen, make the playoffs somehow, they're probably not going to go anywhere or do anything. They're not a very scary team. They would probably be a one and done team in that event. But when we look back, maybe they sneak into the playoffs and you remember, oh, that crazy stuff needed to happen. But at the end of the day, this is a memory. It is Ben Roethlisberger's last game in his career. It's his last game in Baltimore. All of these things. So it's a memory to be had and to be held and to behold. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I am excited for it. It is a momentous occasion, in my opinion. Some crazy back and forth games through the years. Santonio Holmes at the end of a game, Torrey Smith at the end of a game. Ben's had some pretty damn good games in Baltimore. So a lot of fun, and I'm quite excited for it. I think that the Ravens struggle in the red zone against the Steelers profusely in the last couple of years. So that's an area to watch for in this game. I think that they've had a ton of struggles there, aside from, the last matchup, Lamar is able to lead a touchdown drive, punch it into Sammy Watkins. In terms of what you were saying, the difference between Lamar and Tyler Huntley, I think Tyler Huntley, as you said, does move the ball. He can be very confident underneath. He is mobile. He's somewhat consistent underneath. He's not special like Lamar is. Lamar is special. And you go look at that play that Lamar made, that throw he made against the Steelers to, that was a game-tying score. They're not able to get the play done in the 2-point conversion, which is a whole other topic. But he just lacks those special throws and those special plays where it's like, wow, not many guys can make that play. He can do some nice things with his legs in that sense, but Lamar's special, man. And I know that, PFF, you can love him, you can hate him. You can take them for what they're worth. That's what we try to do. And big time throws, Lamar, when he went out, was near the lead in the NFL in big time throws, special throws, floating the ball over top of Justin Simmons, 25 yards downfield to Mark Andrews on the sideline when you're playing the Broncos 2 times, throwing some laser beams against the Colts, hitting some crazy throws against the Vikings. Devin Duvernay putting that ball where only Devin Duvernay could get a paw on it and let him get a paw on it and things of that nature. So I think Tyler Huntley is a good quarterback in the NFL, can be a good, player, maybe have a I don't want to say Tyrod Taylor. I really don't, but it leads me to look at him a little bit. A guy who was a backup in Baltimore, a little bit mobile, could do some nice things. Doesn't turn the ball over a ton. I think Tyrod's a more talented passer, but that took a few years. So Huntley still got some development to do himself, but ultimately, it would be nice to have Lamar in this game. But like we said, Huntley's going to get that shot, and he's going to want to feed Mark Andrews, get the big fella towards that record, and continue to catapult him towards a first-team All-Pro season that he's having, and he absolutely should be. And I expect him to be the first-team All-Pro tight end, probably be the only Raven, I would think, that is on that, or even the second team, aside from maybe Justin Tucker, who some weird things happen with him in the All-Pro team for some reason. But that 66-yarder probably locks him in there. So those are probably the Ravens' 2 All-Pros this year. This game, hopefully we see I just want craziness, man. I just want some wild turnovers, wacky plays, big hits, all of the things that embody this rivalry. I want it sandwiched into a nice little Ben Roethlisberger farewell L. Hopefully it plays out to the end of the game. We get 4 quarters of awesome football and get our money's worth out of it. And that's what we've gotten. If nothing else this season, aside from one game, the Bengals game, we've gotten our money's worth of 4 quarters of football. It's been close every time for the most part.
Yeah, feels like to me, it feels like Huntley is kind of owed one here. It feels like fate needs to kind of tip back his way, because he gets in there against the Brownies, and they probably shouldn't have been in that game, but they were, and he sort of loses out at the end there with some tough breaks on that final drive, whatever you want to say, play calling, whatever, execution. I get it. And then against the Packers, again, another game they probably shouldn't have been in, but he tempts fate again, and he comes within potentially maybe a couple of yards of winning it. I know there was time on the clock still, but who knows? Feels like it's time for him to get one done here. And obviously last week too. But it feels like time for the scales to tip back in his direction as we maybe potentially head into the offseason here, or God willing, he gets them into the playoffs somehow. But another thing to track, Ravens are 1-4 against the AFC North right now. They have potential to go.
Yeah, I thought about that earlier this week. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's you can't have that. Not in this division. Not
you
with the Browns.
1-5 in your division.
Yeah, not with the Browns being as bad as they were. Not with the Steelers being as bad as they were. Like 2-4 is bad enough. You can't go 1-5.
That's true. That's a great point. I was thinking about how that kind of defines them not being a playoff team, regardless of anything else. Playoff teams don't go 1-5 or 2-4 in their division. So for that to happen, can 1,000 ways to skin a cat. That first Bengals game was really a difficult game, and one that I'm going to go back and watch many, 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 many times this offseason. The Bengals are here. The Bengals are going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't think they're losing very many players. I think Jesse Bates is up for a contract. I don't know. I have to double check on all that, but they're going to be able to reload, retool, and get better. And Joe Burrow is going to continue to get better. He is very good, very poised. It's really hard not to see shades of a young Tom Brady in ways in terms of kind of the big persona that he has, the accuracy that he has, the confidence that he has, the footwork in the pocket that he has. That was a comp coming out of the draft, and it's really tough to compare someone to a guy that's set every single possible record and is the greatest quarterback of all time. But you see some of those similarities, and winning is what makes Tom Brady so great, being able to propel his team to victory as best as humanly possible. And, the Bengals are to be reckoned with. So that's a game where we saw a little bit more of a fair fight. And the Ravens had a lead 17-13 in the third quarter of that game, and then end up losing big time. I think it was 41-17 ultimately, something like that, 41-20, whatever it was. So that's a game I'm going to go back and rewatch. But as you said, great point, Jake. This division, win one for yourself, feel good about your division, have some confidence in your division moving forward. If you have trouble getting up for this game, I don't know who the hell you are. There's guys like Tyus Bowser, Odafe Owe, Mark Andrews, guys that are going to be around for a while. Odafe Owe out, so maybe not him, but some of the guys are going to be around for a little while. Chuck Clark still here for a bit. McCary just signed a new contract. This is the Ravens-Steelers rivalry. Records are thrown out the window. They could be playing in week 8 with none of it being such a high leverage or could have been high leverage situation. You got to go beat the Steelers, man. So I'm excited for all of that. And I want to see those guys make plays. I think Tyus Bowser has been kick ass this year alongside Justin Houston. So I'm looking for those guys to go make some plays and go sack Ben Roethlisberger, go make some plays, go prevent the ball from coming out. Tony Jefferson with one of the greatest plays in the rivalry of these two teams, a guy who's been playing some awesome dime backer in the slot a little bit. Let's see what TJ's got. TJ's got a lot to prove right now. He's been playing some damn football for the Ravens, and I don't think there's any reason not to bring him back or for him not to be on an NFL roster next year. The way that he's been playing, the way he's been hitting, he made plays on special teams. He had a really awesome tackle on kickoff last year, goes running off the field doing the big body flex, which is like secretly his signature, the big puffed up flex. So I enjoy that. And overall, I'm excited. You know, I don't have a ton of crazy insight into this one of gap scheme versus man scheme versus zone versus cover 2, cover 4, cover 6.
We don't have to get scheme and stat specific. I think we're all a little burnt out on that. I think we just want to watch a fucking win. It's been way too long.
Definitely. Yeah. And that above all else as well. Another great point. They've lost 5 straight, you know, end on a high note, man. Have a little bit of positivity, something you can rally around, hang your hat on a good day. On Sunday, send Ben Roethlisberger home, riding off into the sunset with a black eye, and you know, to go live out the rest of his days in solace. So I'm excited for this one. I'm happy for this one. I think it's unique. I think it's fun. I'm excited overall. Playoffs, you know, not factoring in this one, but I'm excited for the playoffs as well. It is kind of nice in one way to be able to kind of watch this playoffs play out and not have the Ravens element to it. If they don't make it. So, you know, hopefully they're going to be back and better, and Lamar Jackson comes back and wins games like he always has. And they're in it next year, but we're going to be getting through all that other good stuff, Senior Bowl, draft season, everything coming up. And when that does happen, we'll get there. But for now, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday.
Certainly is. And we're certainly looking forward to it. Anything else? Feels like we kind of covered most of the game. What else is going on?
I don't know. I mean, I'm really excited for the Terrell Suggs aspect of it. Some of the legends, you know, I'd like to see maybe some more of them come there and have some rah-rah speeches maybe. I mean, I'd like to see – I want to see a Ravens wired of them beating the Steelers and Suggs in the locker room before the game getting people pumped up or something like that. That would get the juices flowing.
I agree. I'm curious what his presence is going to be like, because he's not retired. He went and won that ring with the Chiefs. Like, he left here after 2018 when he really didn't have to. It's kind of a weird decision to go to the Cardinals. I know he wanted to go home and everything, but just overall a little bit of a weird departure from Baltimore for him. Which I know he came back in week 2, like the year later, and said hi, and it was all good, but just kind of just felt like he flamed out a little bit when he didn't necessarily need to, because he was still playing good football in 2018.
Yeah, I think he had like 40 pressures, 7 sacks, something like that, and you know, was still a relatively close player to what we saw when he was in his heyday a little bit. Was able to make plays, rush the passer. He had the energy, the personality, and all that stuff. Just kind of reminds you of the Ed Reed situation a little bit. He had a little bit more to do. Wanted to go float around a little bit and see what else was out there towards the end of his career, make a couple extra million, and go play some ball elsewhere. And he did that, but now he's coming back as a legend of the game while he is not officially retired. It would have been hilarious for him to announce his retirement in Ben's last game and steal Ben's thunder. I think that would be the most Sizz thing possible. That's what I've kind of daydreamed about a little bit, and that's exciting as well. But curious who else shows up at this game, if any other former Steelers show up. I guess they all did it last week, and that was their last hurrah with Brett Kiesel and all those fuckers.
Oh yeah. What a real legend of the game, Brett Kiesel. Yeah, but they had that was mean spirited. They had they had Peters out there last week. Let's get some current players. They got a whole fucking roster of guys on IR that they can bring in to fire the lads up. So I'd be into that.
Those guys are all watching the game from their living rooms or whatever.
Yeah,
Peters just hates the Rams.
Yeah, that's true. He was invested in that one. Get Marlon out there talking some crypto and be annoying people. I like that.
Throwing macaroni and cheese on the field. Marcus, it was hilarious that Marcus had that animosity towards the Rams still after he stomped them out and ended the game, ended that blowout with an interception all the way back in 2019. He still has that fire in him. He still has that burning, scorned lover sort of, hatred for the Rams. And it was hilarious. I think it was Harbaugh said that he was like, yeah, Marcus was very involved in film study throughout the week and was calling things out from the sideline. He had to get pulled back on. And if that's not why you love Marcus Peters, or if you don't love Marcus Peters for exactly that, I don't know what to tell you. I've got nothing for you, because that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. So let's get some other players out there. Let's get Ronnie, get that electric personality out there and fire the boys up. That would be good. I don't know. They'll figure something out. They'll have some fun with it.
It certainly will. Flacco coming back would be hilarious, who has still yet to.
He's still on a roster.
It's weird that he's not retired, too. It's weird. Flacco is holding out past Roethlisberger secretly. Whatever, Flacco is just playing games for the Jets randomly or the Eagles randomly.
He has literally all the money in the world, and it just shows you how much he is not looking forward to raising like 15 kids or whatever he has at this point, because he's just still collecting these checks. But the Exit 52 guys just tweeted out a picture of him and Zach Wilson like talking to each other. It was the most jarring like picture I've seen in a while. It was weird. He's just looking like the old like grizzled veteran with a beard, and Zach Wilson looks like he's like 10 years old, like just looking up at him.
Nice little mentor for them. Yeah, I have that picture up right now. Flacco looking like he's describing, this is how I hit the Mile High Miracle. Okay.
Yeah,
but interesting. I also have the question of, will Flacco become a media personality, because he has a funny way of talking. He has that kind of Philly Balmer kind of accent from Audubon, New Jersey, South Jersey. But like, there's crazier dudes on TV that have crazier accents, and everyone says that he was like, Joe Cool, not very emotional or anything. But he secretly always, I feel like, loved when he got to talk to the media when it was his turn at the podium.
Yeah, he would
always kind of relish in it.
He would have some fun. Yeah, he did the Jameis thing the one time, which was great. I feel like he had a lot to say. He was very kind of guarded around the media at times. I'd be interested to hear like maybe we should do a full sit down interview with him sometime. I feel like that would go pretty well. I feel like he would like us.
I think he would like us too. I watch The Bachelor. He watches The Bachelor. We would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I feel like he's got kind of that snarky sort of dry personality and like sense of humor. So that'll be a fun interview. If anyone has an inside line to Joe Flacco, please let us know.
We would love
to listening. I'm counting on you to hook that up.
There we go. But yeah, this is it, man. This is the final preview for this season, and it's been a fun one, been an awesome one. I'm excited for this game. I hope that people, if nothing else at this point, and it's, it's kind of been the laying down, this is kind of like going to go lay by the river when your terminal for those 1883 watchers out there. But it's, like you said, it's cathartic. It's kind of a release, but at the same time, we're not going to have football, most likely, unless the Ravens pull it off and the Colts pull it off and everybody pulls it off. This is our last Ravens game of the season. It's not like they're, the Bears or the Lions or, some other miserable team that hasn't had a shot in 2 months. We're going to be thirsty for Ravens football in about 60 days. We're going to really miss it in March, April, through the summer, through the whole training camp process. So soak it in, take it in, enjoy it, enjoy yourself, do what you love to do on Raven Sundays. You can enjoy this one with a little bit less kind of stress than most of them. So take it in, man. Soak up the sun and enjoy yourself. I'm going to. I'm going to miss being at the stadium. I'm going to miss seeing the Ravens. I'm going to miss doing these, season podcasts and talking it up and going back and looking at the film every week and trying to, discern what's going to happen and make predictions and all that good stuff. So we're going to miss it. This is our last ride. So it's Ben's last ride, and let's ride.
Yeah. It's our last ride until next week. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And yeah, you're totally right. Let's enjoy it. Regardless, it kind of feels like we're, playing with house money. It's one last job. We're getting the gang together and going in for maybe a suicide mission, but who knows? Maybe we'll slip past Terry Benedict and his crew and make off with the all the cash. That being a playoff berth, obviously, probably not, but who could say? Maybe it'll happen. Anything else?
Anything can happen. The Cincinnati Bengals can throw a 53-yard touchdown from a scrub squad on 4th and long.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
To punch the Buffalo Bills playoff ticket for the first time in 20 years as they watch in their locker room.
No, I'm not frustrated.
And they can do, anything can happen. So have a little fun. Let the hairs on your neck stand up. Get excited and see if you can summon the football gods to will the Ravens to the playoffs and just prolong this and see if they can go do something crazy and get it done, man. Allow that energy to flow through you. It is enriching from the football gods. Communicate with the football gods this Sunday and see what they have for you. Because if not this week, I think the Ravens have a lot of that football karma in store next year. I think there's a lot of angry, disappointed, frustrated. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be on a bloodbath tour from coming back from that injury. He's grown out his beard. He hasn't cut his hair. He's been rehabbing his tail off. He worked his ass off last offseason. He was a maniac working with Dalvin Cook and doing all these awesome drills and stiff arming the shit out of people that don't have pads on and going crazy. So I feel like the revenge tour is coming next year. So try and communicate with the football gods and get that channel open now. Get the energy flowing through it.
Yeah, let's do it. Get those crystals out. It's the Asher Roth game. Do something crazy. Okay. 45 minutes in. I guess that covers it. What do you think?
I guess that does it. We got to hit the predickies.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I was trying to think having to do that, so thank you. I'm gonna go Ravens. Ravens get a real big win. Fuck it, 28-17. Tyler Huntley and the lads get it done, and they miss the playoffs. Is my prediction.
I'm gonna go.
What's a winning record?
I'm gonna go 22-19 Ravens, and Mark Andrews absolutely goes off in this game. Absolutely goes off for no reason. As I like to say, Mark Andrews dragging 4 defenders must be Sunday. So I see him absolutely popping off in this game. I think we see Ben a little spry at first. I hope this crowd is loud. I hope Real Fan Dan, who made a glorious post talking about then I'm going to reiterate his statement to our listeners right now. If you're with us to the end, if you've got tickets and you're a PSL holder, give them to a Ravens fan. Do not sell them to a Steelers fan. If you need the money, you desperately need it, whatever. I understand if you need to sell them, fine. If that's not your situation, do not give these tickets to a Steelers fan. Give them to a Baltimore Ravens fan, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a parent, a brother, a sister, an old roommate, someone in your fraternity, someone that you used to work with, your fucking plumber, anyone. Give it to them. Give it to someone. Make their day. Let them go to the Steelers game and go scream their heads off for 4 quarters. And let's see if we can't send old Figjam Roethlisberger home with a sore behind, because in the end, his soul may belong to God, but his ass belongs to Terrell Suggs.
It's true. So, yeah, I echo all those sentiments and hope to see y'all out there on Sunday. I don't have confirmation that I'm going, but I'd like to go. I just got my booster on Monday. Arm sore as shit, but we'll see if we can make it out there. You
can't let it sit. You got to move it around. I worked out after when I got a sore arm, and it made it 1,000 times better. I'm telling you, got to move it around.
I felt fine otherwise because I'm different, but the arm did catch up to me a little bit.
Arm will get you. You have to move it around. You have to move it around.
It's fine now. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to get out there. And see our close personal friend of the podcast off into the sunset. But if that's all you got, I guess I can get us out of here.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to another regular season, and we'll see what happens beyond that. But it's been a ton of fun. Feels like the third time we're kind of saying this, but we do appreciate it. We say it because we appreciate it, and we love you all very much for listening. Follow us on social media if you're not already. You can follow the show on Twitter at Podcast Beatdown. You can find me at Jake Luke. That is LOUQUE. Spencer is at Ravens 4 Dummies. That's the number 4 in the middle there, and you'll know him because he's Rob Lowe in his profile picture. Absolutely, he is Rob Lowe. Follow us on Instagram at Baltimore_Beatdown. We're pumping out all sorts of great content, and check out www.baltimorebeatdown.com for all our great written stuff as well, and all the great writers that we have there too. Everyone doing a great job this year, so appreciate it. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you guys again Sunday night, and until then,
see ya.
Arrivederci.
Where is the wise man? Where is the scholar? Where is the philosopher of this age? Get down! Baltimore!
What are they getting? Everything out of me. They gonna get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that.